Hey y'all, I'm Sarah Wall in the Fox 10 newsroom. Thanks so much for joining us today as we go in depth. We are actually going in depth on the weather because the weather is causing potentially dangerous conditions for us here on the Gulf Coast. We are freezing and we have a wind chill and we have all of these things that are happening that could potentially cause some situations that could be dangerous for folks that are maybe a little bit more vulnerable and things like that. So let's start out by taking a look at what our weather forecast is calling for overnight tonight. So meteorologist Nicholas Urboso put about a bunch of great information out this morning for us so that we could see what's going on. This is what we are expecting tonight into tomorrow. Another cold weather advisory is in effect. So wind chills on Tuesday morning. It's going to feel like it's 15 to 20 degrees north of I-10, 20 to 25 degrees south of I-10. And the impacts of this, the exposure to cold can produce hypothermia. So we need to protect those 4 Ps. So that cold weather advisory in effect going into tonight. So what we can expect tomorrow morning when we wake up is temperatures in the 20s and the low 30s. So we're going to be freezing all the way across the Gulf Coast. And check us out in Grove Hill, 25 degrees, right? Even down at the beach, 31 degrees in Gulf Shore. So it is going to be a cold morning for us. And then when we factor in those wind chills, like we've been talking about, we actually have a chance to see temperatures feeling like 15 to 20-ish degrees outside. So it is very, very cold as we are working our way through the next 24 to 36 hours or so. And when it gets this cold outside, what we can expect to see is actually some weather that is, dangerous potentially not only for us, but for our pets and our pipes and all of these things. So there is winter weather that's moving across the country. Obviously, what you're seeing on your screen, we're not getting that. We're not getting any snow. We're not even getting any precipitation. Not expected to be wet until things warm up across the area. But the cold weather can heighten the risk of dangerous health conditions like hypothermia and frostbite. Health experts say mild hypothermia can cause intense freezing and shivering. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends getting medical help immediately. But if you cannot do that, warming the center of a person's body is the best way to begin treating hypothermia. Again, going to the doctor is the ideal thing to do, but here's what they suggest.
Apply warm packs or, hot water packs to your chest, your armpits, your back, and that way when circulation comes back to the core, it hits the warmest spots.
And it's so important to get warmed back up if you have a situation with hypothermia. To prevent hypothermia or frostbite before it begins, health officials recommend bundling up when heading out into the frigid temperatures. And really knowing what's going on with the weather is super important as well, right? So that you can prepare for what's happening. The National Weather Service kind of breaking it down for us as well. Dressing the part is super important and knowing who is vulnerable. So cold impacts are more vulnerable populations, and we really want to keep an eye on them. But knowing how to dress, whether it's chilly or cold or extreme cold, and we're going into a situation here where it's cold, right? Not extreme cold. We're not talking temperatures in the negative degrees or anything like that. So the cold weather is 2 to 3 layers with gloves and a hat and all of that. And keeping an eye on newborns, elderly, those with, chronic illness. Those are the people that would be most at risk when we have these weather conditions outside. Outdoor workers are folks who are unable to find someplace warm to get out of the cold. So hypothermia is one of the things that we are concerned about with what's happening with our weather outside. So hypothermia is a condition that occurs when core body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a medical emergency. In hypothermia, the body loses heat faster than it can produce heat, and that causes a dangerously low body temperature. Regular body temperature, as we know, about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're talking 95 degrees is when we're typically, technically in hypothermia. When body temperature drops, the heart, nervous system, and other organs can't work as well as they usually do. When you're left untreated, it can cause the heart and respiratory system to fail, and it can lead to death. And common causes: exposure to cold weather or immersion in cold cold water, and we have the cold weather happening outside. This is from the Mayo Clinic. So taking a little bit closer look at hypothermia and frostbite, because frostbite, of course, can happen when it's cold outside as well. So avoiding frostbite and hypothermia. I got this from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. This has some great information because it puts this out here for us pretty vividly. So knowing what to wear, right? So it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold and windy. So when we talk about wind gusts with temperatures feeling like 15 to 20 degrees, we've got to dress the part. A scarf or a knit mask that covers the face and mouth, a hat, a water-resistant coat. Now, we're not talking about issues with snow or rain or anything like that. So just make sure your jacket is warm. A couple different layers, potentially mittens or gloves, nice warm socks, and nice warm shoes as well. So hypothermia symptoms for adults: shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, slurred speech, and drowsiness. That's adults. In infants, we're talking bright red, cold skin, and very low energy. Hypothermia often occurs at very cold temperatures, and it can persist and become more common if the person is wet. Again, we are not expecting any rain or snow or nothing like that, no precipitation, but the cold weather out there with the wind could get us into a situation where we could be dealing with hypothermia. So watching out for adults, especially if you have some neighbors or friends or maybe some people you know that work outside or can't get inside, be checking for shivering and exhaustion, the confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, slurred speech, and drowsiness. And of course, in those babies, bright red, cold skin, and very low energy. In order to treat hypothermia, they say absolutely get medical attention as soon as possible. But skin can become numb, and you don't want that to continue. So they say they don't want you to massage or use the affected areas. Don't sit in front of a fireplace or a heat lamp, and don't use electric heating pads or blankets. If a person is, which kind of goes against what we would think, right? If someone's cold, the idea would be to get them in front of someplace hot to warm them up. But these are the directions. These are saying what we should be doing instead of that. Seek medical attention. Go to the doctor as soon as possible. Get them into a warm room or a shelter. If they happen to be wearing wet clothing, take it off. Warm using dry layers of blankets and clothing, and place areas affected by frostbite in warm to touch water. That's what you do if you are dealing with it. And some of the areas that really are more susceptible to frostbite and hypothermia would be fingers and ears, chin, cheeks, nose, and toes. So things that are exposed potentially, and also all of our extremities, right? Fingers, toes, you got to make sure you have on those warm gloves or warm socks or whatever. And then ears, chin, nose, and cheeks. A lot of that is exposed oftentimes if you're not wearing like a mask covering your entire face. So frostbite is obviously a little bit different, but just so you know what it is redness or pain in any skin area. It might be the first sign of frostbite. You also could have a white or grayish yellow skin area, skin that feels unusually firm or waxy, and numbness. And we're often unaware of this because frozen tissue becomes numb. So there are definitely some issues going on with what's happening outside with our weather, which is why we do have some cold weather shelters that are opening across our area. If you need a warm place to stay tonight, local shelters will be back open. So we have a couple of options for you, and you can see some of them there on your screen. In Mobile, there is the Waterfront Rescue Mission. It's located on North Washington Avenue. It's also one of the places that does the connection. It does the organization. So if you know someone who needs a place to go, the Waterfront Rescue Mission is a great option for you to give them a call, reach out to them, because they are a coordinating place as well. So go ahead and give them a call if you are looking for needing someplace for someone to go. The McKimmy place is only open for women. So if you know a woman or you are a woman and you need someplace warm to go, you can go to the McKimmy place. The Salvation Army is open. It's located on 1009 Dauphin Street, and it is only open for men. Dauphin Way United Methodist Church is for women with children families and an overflow of single women. Again, the Waterfront Rescue Mission is one of the coordinating agencies, so they do help make sure people get to the right place. The Ronald K. Davis Safe House on Whistler Street in Pritchard and the Theodore Church of God is for men, women, and children. So like we said, there are several options, several different places that you can go if you need someplace warm to be. The Ferris Hill Baptist Church, this is located at 6848 on Chaffin Street in Milton in Florida. It's going to be open tonight. Now, if you're going here, you have to get there between 6:30 and 8:30 tonight. You can't get in after that unless you're brought in by law enforcement. Service animals must have rabies vaccination records, and the shelter will close in the morning as well at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you're looking for more information on cold weather shelters, we do have a list that we're continuing to update on our website here, fox10tv.com, and we can scroll down a little bit and you can see these are listed, the different ones that are open across the area. And again, we are continuing to update the information. Also, if you are someone who is secure and having a warm place to be, if you'd like to help others, the Theodore Church of God is opening, as we talked about, the Theodore Church of God for men, women, and children. They're actually collecting donations, and these are some of the things that they need for their cold weather shelter. We have a list of these items on our website. They go from clothing to sleeping bags. They also have, some hygiene items as well, and they also have some food items for those in need. So that you can help out that way if you would like to, which gives you a great option and a great way to help. Now, for those staying home, we want to do a couple of reminders. We've been talking with officials and they've been reminding us that we've got to be safe when we are at home because this is not something that we see across our area all of the time. And they are reminding us that we may actually have some things that we do that we might be making some mistakes. So we're going to take a look here at what some of the information they're putting out for us as well. So many of us are cranking up the heat as our temperatures continue to drop. There is some important information and reminders about how you can stay warm and safe this winter. According to local experts, one of our biggest and most crucial investments is to make sure that all of our systems are working efficiently and effectively. And we went straight to the experts, the HVAC folks, to get some advice.
People may not have maintained their systems, their HVAC systems, and so the heater may have smelled funny or they just weren't sure if something was working right. So we absolutely went out there and checked those out for them. Some may have had some gas systems and may have had some issues there, so we did those.
Yeah, they actually told us that their phones have kind of been ringing off the hook lately. And one of the things that's important to note that if you have anything that comes up, they say go ahead and call. Just make sure that everything is okay, right? And they also say you should make sure to know how to safely heat your home. It's a good idea to keep a space heater on a flat surface if you're using a space heater. Be sure to plug it directly into a wall outlet. Never use an extension cord. And don't keep a space heater running for hours at a time.
A lot of them have the tip-over features, which are safe, but you want to make sure they're 3 feet away from anything that could potentially be flammable.
Yeah, so make sure that you are, following all of these safety reminders when it comes to how you are heating your house. And if you have a fireplace that you're using, Mobile Fire Rescue wants to make sure that you have it professionally inspected and cleaned before you use it, because unfortunately, Mobile Fire Rescue knows exactly what it is when there are issues with houses and things like that, because when they respond, unfortunately they're responding because there is an issue. We talked with Stephen Milhouse. He's the public information officer for the Mobile Fire Rescue Department. He says they've already responded to multiple cold weather related house fires this year, most of them with one common factor.
Cold weather months, we typically see an uptick in fire-related emergencies from space heaters, candles, people trying to heat their homes with their heaters, and unfortunately in some situations we respond to fire-related emergencies based on how someone didn't use it the correct way. Save yourself some trouble and a lot of hassle. Just be smart and be safe.
And it's hard, right? Because we don't do this all that often. We don't see, Meteorologist Nicholas Urboso and I were talking this morning. Normal highs for today are in the 60s, normal lows are in the 40s. So we are well below what we are normally at this time of year. And so things, are a little different. We're not used to doing this all the time. Now, there is some information that was put out. This is a little bit old, right? It's 2017 to 2019. I was looking for some more updated information, but this comes from FEMA from a couple of years ago. And I thought it really did show pretty well in numbers what we are looking at. So from 2017 to 2019, this kind of reinforces the point that the firefighter Stephen Millhouse is making when it comes to the fact that house fires happen in the colder months. So an estimated average between these 2 years was 34,200 heating fires in residential buildings were reported to fire departments across the country. This is not here just in our area, this is across the country. And in these years, it led to 165 deaths and 600 injuries and $367 million in damages and property loss, right? So heating is actually the second leading cause of all residential building fires behind cooking. Cooking is the #1 issue. Most of the fires happened between 5 and 9 p.m. Most of the fires happened in January. 27% of the fires happened because that heating source, like that space heater or maybe a fireplace or a stove, were too close to things that could actually catch on fire. So reminders again from the folks with the fire department, the folks with FEMA, all of those people that are looking out for us and taking care of us with safety is these are the tips to maintain a fire safe home this winter. If you're using a space heater, we just talked about some of these things, but make sure it stays away from anything that can burn. That includes bedding, clothing, and curtains. Got to be 3 feet away. And this is difficult too, right? Because a lot of times we want to run these while we're getting into bed because that's when we're sleeping and that's when it's coldest and all of that, but that's a no-go. If you are sleeping, you got to shut it off. Make sure the heater has an automatic shut off, so if it tips over, it does shut off. Turn them off when you go to bed or leave the room. Plug it directly into the wall, not an extension cord, because an extension cord can melt because there's so much power and heat going through there. And use only portable heaters from a recognized testing laboratory. Fireplaces, make sure you have a metal screen or a glass screen so nothing can jump out of the fireplace. Don't burn paper. Put the fire out before you go to sleep or leave your home, and then put the ashes in a metal container with a lid outside at least 10 feet from your home. And do make sure you get your fireplace and your chimney inspected to make sure that nothing has, made a little home in there or anything like that that could be a fire hazard. A wood stove, same idea. Make sure it's 3 feet from anything that can burn. Put it out before you go to sleep or leave your home, and do have it inspected and cleaned by a professional. Make sure your furnace is inspected each year, and if you have a kerosene heater, make sure it's from a recognized laboratory with an automatic off switch, so if it tips over, it does shut off. And we did also look at some information that came out from the National Weather Service when it comes to space heater safety. So once again, this is something that also comes into play, all of these different things with installing a carbon monoxide detector as well to make sure you avoid any carbon monoxide poisoning. If you have like the power go out and we have a generator situation, obviously that needs to be outside as well. Carbon monoxide is very dangerous and can cause lots of problems and can cause things to be really bad. So if we are looking ahead and seeing that we're going to have some cold weather hanging around with us for the next 36 or so hours, we want to make sure that we are covered. So if you are someone who is in need of a place to go, just a reminder, these are some of the options for you. We do have a whole list of options that we continue to update on our Facebook page. Waterfront Rescue Mission is a coordinating agency as well, so you can reach out to them if you know, or if you are in need and you know someone in need, they can help you find a place. Some of these are broken down by men only, women only, families only, all of that. These are some in Mobile. We do have one in Pritchard. We have one in Theodore, and this is in Florida. Some of these places are collecting supplies so that they can help those in need as well, make sure that they have all that they need, all the supplies that they need. But just a reminder, we are looking at a cold weather advisory tonight into tomorrow, and we are expecting to see temperatures dropping down into the freezing conditions in the 20s with wind chills into the lower 20s as well, feeling like potentially 15 to 20 degrees outside. We bring this up because, again, this is way below normal for us. We know we deal with these things, but wanted to let you know that there are some safety reminders out there. There are also places you can go if you need help, and we have all of that information out for you as well. So y'all stay safe and stay warm. We'll be with you tomorrow morning when that cold weather is here. We'll be right here at Fox 10. So we hope that you will join us then, and hopefully between now and then, everybody stays nice and safe and warm.